The latest Dr. Stone episode aired, and we're here to react to it while also explaining the science behind it. So let's get started. Okay, so this episode was just brilliant. It's like Senku's genius was on another level. Let's go over some of his amazing quotes from this episode. So in this episode, the Kingdom of Science is able to successfully send messages back and forth with the neighboring kingdom of Balkania, thanks to Senku and company creating a device that allows for radio communication through the use of solar power and batteries. But before they can get the full conversation going, the two warring factions that have been fighting in the shadows decide to lay down their arms, because of how cool this new invention is. One of them says, "If he can create something like that, then why would we fight? This guy is an absolute treasure." And Senku replies, "It's not me who's valuable. It's the people around me. The one who taught me how to listen to other people's opinions and accept them. The friends who helped me set up the observatory. The companions who accompany me on my journey to revive the world. All of them are equally valuable. A single person alone can do nothing. We need everyone working together, all of our ideas, in order to do something great. That's why it's important to surround yourself with strong people." I love this answer from Senku. It really goes to show what kind of person he is, someone who isn't arrogant despite his intelligence. And there's this other quote later on in the episode where Senku tells Chrome that when you're faced with a problem, the first step is to thoroughly understand the problem and then think of a solution. He gives the example of if your campfire goes out, you have to first understand why it went out. Is it because the fire got too much air? Is it because the fuel source ran out? Is it because it got wet? Once you figure out why it went out, then you can work on a solution such as covering the top of the fire with rocks to prevent it from getting too much air, gathering more wood to keep the fire going, or lighting a waterproof match in order to light the remaining embers. So yeah, good advice from Senku. By the way, don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get back to the science of this episode. Okay, so in this episode, Senku uses mirrors to concentrate sunlight onto batteries in order to charge them up and power his radio transmitter. Now this is pretty neat and it's definitely possible. In fact, I've seen videos of people doing this with parabolic mirrors. These kinds of mirrors are called concentrator mirrors, and they are used to concentrate sunlight onto a receiver. In the case of Senku and company, their receiver is a battery. In other cases, the receiver could be a boiler in order to generate heat, or even photovoltaic cells to generate electricity. Now you might be wondering, why not just place the photovoltaic cells directly in the concentrated beam of sunlight instead of using mirrors to focus it onto the batteries? Well, you can do this, and this is actually how most concentrated solar power plants work. They use things called heliostats, which are essentially mirrors that move around in order to concentrate sunlight onto a receiver. However, these systems tend to be large-scale and expensive. So in a situation like that of Senku and company where they are trying to make a quick and cheap device, it makes sense that they would opt to use mirrors to concentrate the sunlight onto regular batteries rather than using photovoltaic cells directly. The reason that this works is because of something called conservation of entropy. This basically means that no configuration of mirrors can be used to bring the sun's rays to a focus hotter than the sun itself. So no matter what Senku and company did, they wouldn't be able to get a temperature higher than about 6,000 Kelvin. This is great for cooking since it's hot enough to cook food quickly without burning it. But it's not high enough to cause any real damage to the human body, so overall it's pretty safe. As we all know, though, the temperature of the sun's surface is actually about 5,800 Kelvin. So how is it that Senku and company were able to reach temperatures high enough to cook food using only mirrors? Well, the answer lies in the type of batteries they were using. You see, the temperature that you get when concentrating sunlight using mirrors depends on the type of battery you're recharging. The hotter the battery gets, the hotter the sun's rays will be when they are concentrated onto it. And since Senku and company were using special super high-temperature resistant batteries developed by the Kingdom of Science, they were able to reach high enough temperatures to cook food. In order to demonstrate this, I charged up some regular batteries and some high-temperature resistant batteries using my solar charger. And I found that the regular batteries only got slightly warm while the high-temperature resistant batteries got significantly hotter to the touch. Now I didn't have any high-temperature resistant batteries on hand. But I did have some lithium polymer batteries, which get significantly hotter than regular alkaline batteries, and as you can see, the difference is pretty big. The regular alkaline batteries only got slightly warm, while the lithium polymer batteries were significantly hotter to the touch. This is pretty cool. It shows that the temperature that you get when concentrating sunlight using mirrors depends on the type of battery you recharging. And it also shows that Senku and company were using lithium polymer batteries in order to reach the high temperatures necessary to cook food. Later on in the episode, Senku and company are able to get word from the neighboring kingdom of Balkania that they too are interested in reviving the world and they want to form an alliance with the Kingdom of Science. In order to celebrate this occasion, Senku decides to hold a banquet. Now at the banquet, Senku raises a toast and says, "To the survival of humanity, to the revival of the world, to the continuation of life. I propose a toast to all of you." I thought this was such a nice moment. It really goes to show how far the characters have come since the series began. At the beginning of the series, all they were concerned with was simply surviving. Then as time went on, they started to think about reviving the world. And now they are actually making progress towards that goal. And it's not just Senku who is excited about this. Everyone in the Kingdom of Science is looking forward to reviving the world. This is a great message of hope for anyone who is currently struggling. It lets you know that things will get better if you just keep pushing forward. And this is something that I have always appreciated about the Dr. Stone series. It's not just a fun adventure story. It's also a story about hope. No matter how difficult things may seem, as long as you keep moving forward, things will eventually get better. This is a lesson that we can all take to heart, not just the characters in the story. Lastly, this episode also features some pretty intense action scenes as the two warring factions that have been fighting in the shadows finally decide to lay down their arms and join the Kingdom of Science. There's some pretty intense sword fighting and gun battles, but in the end, reason prevails and everyone decides to work together in order to revive the world. I thought this was a great message. It shows that violence is never the answer and that there is always hope for peace. Even in the darkest of times, as long as people are willing to talk to each other and find common ground, violence can be avoided, and this is something that is sorely needed in today's world. We are constantly bombarded with images of violence and war. It seems like there is never a shortage of people who are willing to resort to violence in order to get what they want. But the truth is that violence only begets more violence. It never solves the underlying issues, and it always leaves people worse off. The Dr. Stone series does a great job of showing us that there is always hope for peace, no matter how divided we may seem. As long as people are willing to talk to each other and find common ground, we can always find a peaceful solution to our problems. Well, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this reaction and explanation of Dr. Stone. If you did, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.